When someone you trusted with your world, a partner, a close friend, shatters that trust, the pain is more than just heartbreak. It's a sinking feeling, like the solid ground you stood on just turned to quicksand. The same memories that once brought you joy now feel like a cruel joke, replaying in your mind and poisoning your peace. But what if there was a way to navigate this? An ancient philosophy born from emperors and slaves who faced war, plague, and betrayal that holds a practical guide. A way to not only endure this pain, but to use it as fuel to forge an unbreakable version of yourself. Betrayal doesn't just hurt, it dismantles your reality. When a partner is unfaithful or a friend uses your vulnerability against you, the act itself is a sharp, brutal cut. But the real damage comes from the aftermath, the obsessive questions, the shattered self-worth, and a corrosive desire for revenge that eats you from the inside out. You feel trapped in a mental prison, replaying their actions, trying to understand why. This rumination feels productive, like you're solving a puzzle, but it's a trap. It keeps you shackled to the person who hurt you, allowing their actions to define your present and poison your future. You might feel the urge to expose them, to set the record straight, but this is another distraction that drains your energy and keeps you tied to the past. So will you carry this wound like a badge of bitterness, or will you wear it like armor? This is where the ancient philosophy of Stoicism offers not just comfort, but a revolutionary toolkit for the mind. For thinkers like the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius, the slave-turned-philosopher Epictetus, and the statesman Seneca, the world was chaotic and often unjust. They knew betrayal was inevitable. It's why Marcus Aurelius would prepare himself each morning with the thought that the people he'd meet that day might be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, or dishonest. This wasn't pessimism. It was preparation. The Stoics understood that true strength isn't about avoiding pain, but about mastering your response to it. They developed principles to build an inner fortress, a citadel of the mind that no external event, no matter how painful, could ever breach. Today, we're walking through 5 of these timeless Stoic principles, step by step. This isn't about suppressing your pain. It's about transforming it. This is your guide to not just coping with betrayal, but emerging stronger, wiser, and truly unbreakable. The first and most foundational principle of Stoicism is the dichotomy of control. Epictetus taught that some things are within our power and some are not. Within our power are our own judgments, our choices, and our actions. Outside of our power, pretty much everything else, including the actions of others. The betrayal was not in your control. Their disloyalty and deception were choices that stemmed from their character, their weaknesses. To a Stoic, their action is just an external event, like a storm or a falling rock. You wouldn't blame yourself for the weather, so why blame yourself for their moral failings? This realization is profoundly liberating. It means their betrayal says nothing about your worth. It was never about you. It was about them. You can't force someone to be faithful or loyal. The only thing you can control right now is how you respond. The betrayal itself cuts you once. It's your own mind, through resentment and obsessive thinking, that makes it cut again and again. By focusing only on what's up to us, our thoughts, our discipline, our integrity, we reclaim our power. We stop bleeding over an injury we didn't inflict on ourselves. We accept the reality of what happened, not with defeated resignation, but with a calm recognition of where our true strength lies. When the shock of betrayal hits, it feels like a tragedy. The world you knew has been destroyed. But a Stoic reframes this. It's not a tragedy, it's clarity. A mask has finally fallen off. The person you thought you knew was an illusion. The person standing before you now is the reality. In a way, they've given you a painful but powerful gift, the truth. You're no longer living a lie. You're no longer investing your love, trust, and energy into someone unworthy of it. The Stoics believed that living in accordance with nature means living in accordance with truth. Well, now you have the truth. This perspective shifts you from the position of a victim to an observer. You see, the relationship wasn't what you believed it to be. The friend who was secretly envious, the partner who was secretly deceitful, these truths were always there, hidden beneath the surface. The betrayal didn't create this reality, it merely revealed it. As painful as this revelation is, it's better to build your life on a harsh truth than on a comfortable lie. This clarity allows you to make decisions based on reality, not illusion. You've lost someone you thought you wanted, but in truth, you've only lost someone you wouldn't have wanted if you had known their true character. You have lost your mistake. Once the initial storm of emotion begins to subside, a Stoic turns their attention inward. This isn't about self-blame. You are not responsible for their actions. However, you are responsible for your own judgments. The Stoic asks, was I willfully blind to certain red flags? Did I place my trust too quickly without sufficient evidence of their character? Seneca advised that we should be slow to grant our friendship, but once given, welcome them with our whole heart. This principle asks you to examine whether you were careful in your selection. Did your desire for companionship or love cause you to overlook character flaws that were there from the beginning? This self-audit is done with ruthless honesty, but also profound self-compassion. It's about learning, not self-flagellation. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that we are all flawed and capable of error. Perhaps you ignored your intuition or made excuses for their behavior. Acknowledging this isn't weakness, it's the beginning of wisdom. This process transforms the pain of betrayal into a lesson in discernment. You learn to trust your perceptions more. You learn to evaluate character more carefully. The goal isn't to become suspicious or hateful, but simply to keep your distance from those who prove themselves unworthy. You aren't blaming yourself for the fire, but you are learning how to better recognize smoke in the future. In the face of profound betrayal, forgiveness can feel impossible, even offensive. Why should you forgive someone who caused you so much pain? From a Stoic perspective, forgiveness is not for them, it's for you. There's an old saying that holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. That perfectly captures the Stoic view. These negative emotions or passions are irrational judgments that destroy our inner peace. They keep us tethered to the past and to the person who wronged us. To forgive like a Stoic is to consciously release the hold these emotions have on you. It's an act of enlightened self-care. It's a declaration that the person who betrayed you no longer has the power to dictate your emotional state. You are taking back control of your inner world. This does not mean you must reconcile. It doesn't mean you have to forget what happened or offer your trust again. In fact, for certain betrayals, a Stoic would argue reconciliation is unwise. Epictetus taught that if a companion is dirty, his friends can't help but get a little dirty too, no matter how clean they started. Forgiveness can, and often should, coexist with the firm boundary of walking away forever. Forgiveness is simply the act of breaking the chain that ties your mind to their action. You accept their flawed humanity, recognizing they acted from ignorance or weakness, and you choose to release yourself from the burden of hating them. Their character is their prison. You don't have to join them in it. The final and most transformative step is to ensure this painful experience becomes a source of wisdom, not a cage of fear. After being deeply hurt, the natural impulse is to build walls so high that no one can ever get close again. This is a life sentence of solitude, and it's a victory for the one who betrayed you. They haven't just broken your trust in them, they've broken your trust in humanity. A Stoic chooses a different path. They use the experience of betrayal as a filter. They understand that while some people are untrustworthy, not all people are. The lesson isn't to avoid trust, but to place it more wisely. The pain becomes a teacher, sharpening your judgment and refining your standards for who you allow into your inner circle. As Seneca advised, associate with people who are likely to improve you. Your heart shouldn't become a fortress with the drawbridge permanently up. It should remain a garden, but a garden with a stronger fence and a gatekeeper who is more discerning. You remain open to the possibility of loyal and virtuous friendships, but you no longer grant access indiscriminately. The wound becomes a reminder, not of pain, but of resilience. It reminds you that you survived. It reminds you that the only trust that's truly essential is trust in yourself, your ability to endure, to learn, and to stand steady even when the world shakes. The betrayal doesn't define you, your response to it does. Betrayal is one of life's deepest pains. It can leave you feeling broken, lost, and alone. But as the Stoics teach us, what happens to us is not as important as how we respond. The actions of others are outside our control, but our inner world, our judgments, virtues, and peace is ours to command. By mastering the dichotomy of control, you reclaim your power. By seeing betrayal as clarity, you find truth in the pain. By auditing yourself, you gain wisdom. By forgiving, you set yourself free. And by using the experience as a filter, you build a better future without closing your heart. The wound may leave a scar, but a scar is a mark of healing. It's proof that you are stronger than what tried to break you. Betrayal doesn't have to be the end of your story. For a Stoic, it's the beginning of an unbreakable self.